And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the semifinals or semifinals here of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 112. We are here. We have returned. We are back with the first of many, the first of two semifinals. Here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of 10,000 feet. We have the Red Protoss player with Red Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Nightmare Slayer himself. We have the blue Zerg player. It is YoungYakov. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our PvZ. And I'm curious to see how things will... Oh, let's go. That's YoungYakov. He is here to pop off. Proxy hatchery across the map. We're going for the rush. What do I mean by that? Well, welcome to 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. We do have mineral walls, of course, here just inside the natural. You can mine through those mineral patches. You can break on through and try to rush into your opponent's natural base and bypass the wall. Okay. But it's going to be hatch gas pool. Hold on. Hold on. So hatch gas pool at a YoungYakov, of course, going for the hatchery across the map. We're not rushing into lings. We're going to be prioritizing the gas a little bit more first instead. We'll see how this all does piece together. I'm used to seeing this alongside like a 12 pool or again, like an earlier pool timings nonetheless, is what I'm used to. Here we go. Drones are being rallied. Remember, you have to work through those mineral patches. You have to break on through. And yes, this is the updated version of 10,000 feet, of course. It is updated. If you remember previously, this the map itself was a little bit more blue and green, was a little bit more like underwater, under the sea. But has been visually updated. Different lighting, different textures. In preparation, because this is going to be a part of the ladder. It was yesterday. Yesterday it was announced the finalists of the TLMC, of the Team Liquid map contest, and 10,000 feet did make it, as we assumed, right? It's like we assumed Mothership, Celestial Enclave, and 10,000 feet did make it through. If you recall my assumption, I was actually concerned that White Rabbit was going to be amongst the top 3 as well. But that's my own personal thoughts on said map. For now, lings are flooding, the wall is open, and the wall is... there is no wall. There is no wall. The queen is waddling in, lings, they flood into the natural, and there is nothing here to defend. I mean, we have 2 adepts, that's true. There are 2 adepts to hold on. Lings do give chase. Meanwhile, we still have more lings rallying. Shield batteries on the way. And we have to spread that creep. Spread that creep out. There we go. Going for the Artosis pylon. Oh, the pylon. Yeah, the pylon's under threat. The pylon will go down, denying Warp Gate. Warp Gate is denied. The pylon's going to go down as well. Now going for the final pylon here. As it tries to power up that shield battery at least. Does fall. GG gets called, and with that we won't be able to experience the map because YoungYakov will take game number 1. GG. Whew, GG, well played, Yakov. He does start things off with a bang here with the proxy hatch. Remember, because of the more standard opener, we do have, I should say that SKillous, he wasn't really tipped off to scout, right? Because of the hatch gas pool, there wasn't anything too crazy when we saw the probe scout across the map. He didn't see an early pool, he didn't see an early gas geyser, so everything was looking more or less standard, which is why he was caught off guard so heavily by the more later hatchery timing, or by the later kind of aggressive build. So GG well played with that. YoungYakov, he was able to freely drone up, freely saturate, freely drone up, and freely, I should say, work through that wall and then break through. GG well played. Yakov takes the lead in the series, and will Yakov just claim it here and now? Oh boy, let's go. Let us go. As we are getting ready for game number 2. And again, we're looking to make this a short series. Oh boy. I was about to say that we should be expecting like something more standard, just because Nightmare was so unorthodox. He was so unorthodox with his play, so unusual with his builds, that in comparison, SKillous, he should be able to look, you know, normal in comparison. But we're not getting there yet. He was denied that, and now we're loading into Incorporeal for game number 2. Let's go. Loading into Incorporeal. And spawning in the top left-hand corner here of Incorporeal, we have the red Protoss player himself, representing Team Liquid. I would say favored in this series, but now down and close to being out. He has to fight back here and now to force the ace match. It is SKillous. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player. Again, just looked at Nightmare, was looking spicy and looking in form against Classic previously. And will he just will he make it here and now? Will he make it to the grand finals? It is YoungYakov. Let's go. Let us go. So far we are moving in. Yakov getting ready with his own hatch gas pool. And for the time being, at least, we have a more standard setup here. You know, there's no early pool timing, there's no proxy across the map, none of the shenanigans. There's a higher chance that we're going to slow things down and get into a bit of a longer game state. As I mentioned before, I do expect to see more standard play out of SKillous, but we'll keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on the SKillous. Now we do have our Lings dipping out. Stargate opener out of SKillous. We're going to open up standard. Now, once again, there's a very high chance that Yakov is going to be the aggressor here. We saw that previously we have seen him be a little bit more tech heavy against Triple, for example, but that was against a more defensive start. So we'll see. We shall see. Now SKillous does move out with his adepts. 2 adepts, of course, they can one-shot workers. They will threaten the mineral lines, and we'll see if he can get in. So we have the shade. Does threaten that shade. More armies building up. That's going to be 10 more Lings in production, so the goal here for YoungYakov is to shut down these adepts into counterattack. So you go for the counterattack. Ooh, does up. Not quite get this around. SKillous barely slips away. And here come the Zerglings. Okay, Link speed does finish. Yakov is rushing across the map. Ooh, the move gets spotted. SKillous is aware. Oracle turns back around, and SKillous should be fine. Yeah, should be fine. Nice scouting, nice reactions. Lings, they do commit. They do get both adepts. They're going to be zoned away. Likewise, early Twilight Council out of SKillous. You have my attention. Early Council, 2 more gateways. Did I say... So we're getting to 4 gates. So 4 gate setup, this is going to be one of 2 things. Either Glaives or early Blink. Show us what you got. How aggressive, how sort of we're going to be. There we go. Blink is on the way. So early Blink timing here out of SKillous. We saw Nightmare do this in the second game in this series. Nightmares was a little bit different. If you remember, he went for Blink into a Temple. Sorry, he went Temple Archives first, into Blink afterwards. It was crazy. This time, no Temple Archives. This time, Blink will be done early and will be done in time to defend against any aggression at the third base. Likewise, it also allows SKillous to be the aggressor as well and to be active on the map to deny the fourth of YoungYakov. They've satiated in. Drone's going to be going down. We had 2 drones in the main base, and so far 3 drones here at the third. He does get another. Barely, no. Yakov does Holy, does defends. Does go for the earlier lair. And he's building up into a Roach heavy composition. Fourth base is on the way. And I'll be honest, I was almost expecting Overlord speed. I was but no. Yakov is droning up. Getting up to 3 bases. As Stalkers move out, Lings they move in. They hit the third base. Nice run by, nice counterattack, getting on top of the shield battery. Boys are being pulled to attack, to defend. And the battery will go down. At the same time, Stalkers are headed for the fourth. Once the force side cancel, and he will. Oh no! No! Where is it? Oh my god! What a mass! Oh, Jesus. Does barely cancel in time. We do see SKillous defending against the Lings. So far, so good. And Yakov is taking. He's taking out. We have the Hydra den on the way. So Yakov is not going for the all-in. We have Hydras. Meanwhile, we have the second Robo and the bait on the way as well. So SKillous going to double Robo, double Colossal production. Building up even more. There's another cancellation. Yakov just can't get a fourth. Oh my god. There's the recall. Roaches, they do slightly punish. They get 1 Stalker, but that's all they get. And Yakov, he just wants to drone. He just wants to tech up. Oh, getting into the infestation pit, telling us even more that he wants to go into Hive. And Yakov, he's stuck on 3 bases. He's falling behind. Very late saturation. One of the Oracle's falls. There's one of the Oracles. Lurker Den is on the way. I mean, again, YoungYakov, he will eventually get into his own Vipers and Lurkers and refine his army, but the problem is that he's going to be so late in doing so that SKillous should already have a fourth, actually. Hold on. Okay, so there's a bit of a back and forth here. On the one hand, SKillous has done an amazing job at denying the fourth base over and over and over again. At the same time, SKillous could have been greedy. He could have been greedier than he was. He could have gone for an earlier fourth base, for earlier saturation. It looks like maybe he was scared. It looks like SKillous, he was scared he was going to force an all-in. He didn't, but he was terrified he would. So he was being very safe and very cautious. As a result, he has a higher Colossus count early on. He's making 2 Colossus at a time. But the economy did struggle as a result. Did struggle because of it. The 4 Colossus can move out. Again, a terrifying backbone to this army. Vipers are on the way. Lurkers, they should be able to buy a little bit of time for those Vipers. No, maybe not. Maybe it's just too much here. Yeah, SKillous, he's just pushing in. Where are the Lurkers? He gets 1. barely gets one in time. Observer moves in. Barely does kite away. And this fourth base, it goes down for the third time. Yakov, he just cannot expand. He cannot keep up. SKillous is going for the kill, going for the throat. There's 5 lurkers defensively. SKillous is going to rotate. We do have the fleet beacon on the way. So I'll take it into the main. Same time, we do go for a roach counterattack. And do we force a recall? Oh, gets one. The lurkers are dead. Yeah, lurkers are gonna be sniped one after the other. It does get one of the Colossus at least, but every lurker falls. And sure, SKillous, he will lose an expansion. He will lose the mineral line. One base goes down, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's gonna just go in and end the game. As the Protoss cannot be stopped. The Zealots are distracting the main base, getting himself the Hydras. Better trades here for SKillous, trading minerals for gas. Picking up Hydras. With a supply block. And just keep going. Again, there's no reason to turn around. Stutter stepping in. I mean, there's a surrounding coming. True. There's potential with the surround. The boys are being pulled into the Colossus. Oh no. Colossus, they kite away. And with the final surround here, it does get the Colossus. Okay. Does pick it off. Yakov is holding on to his 2-base setup. He has 26 drones. SKillous on 3 bases with 50 workers himself. Getting his mothership. Disruptors are on the way. And SKillous perfectly fine. And this is it. Final move out. We start to step in. We're going to throw away the roaches, throw away the Hydras. GG gets called, and SKillous ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew, GG. And again, SKillous, with that early blink timing, he was able to be quite crisp with it. He was able to deny the 4th base twice. Twice it was cancelled, twice it was denied, and that was critical damage. If you remember, we were assuming, like, okay, after it was denied, the second time at least, Yakov would be forced into an all-in, but no, he tried to tech up into Hive, he tried to tech up into Lurkers. SKillous, of course, did the correct thing, and he was being aggressive earlier. He was able to kill the 3rd base for another time, sorry, the 4th base for a 3rd time, so kill the 4th base again, and just never really allowed YoungYakov to recover. Never did allow. And with that, we have 1 game left. We have 1 game left in the series. Here it all ends. Here it all ends on our final map. Where exactly? I don't know yet. Let's go. Okay, the final game of the series will be on Persephone. Okay. We'll be loading into Persephone here. That final game. Meanwhile, we have updates, of course. Cristiano did take down Percival in the upper brackets, and he was able to bring him down 2-0. So once we wrap up this series, we'll have another PvZ between Solar and Cristiano. We'll get there. We will get there. Spawning in the bottom hand corner of Persephone, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg player himself. We're tying up the series 1-1. It is SKillous. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player. The blue Zerg player himself, it is YoungYakov. Here we go. And again, YoungYakov, he was just having a very hard time last game expanding and getting his 4th base. He was denied 3 times. He just couldn't expand. He had no economy. That's why he fell behind. That's why he had no setup. That's why, despite the nature of Zerg, he was down in workers, down in economy, down in bases, down in army supply as well. Just a very rough game there for Yakov. And we'll see if he can make up for that here in the ace match. as once again hatch gas pooled. This time there's no hatchery across the map. We'll keep an eye on Yakov once again here if he does attempt to be more aggressive. This isn't necessarily a bad map to try to go for a longer macro game. I will say that there are definitely more defendable maps out there. Here you can rotate between the natural base, between the third, and between the fourth as well. It is difficult to engage just because of the choke point here. There are rocks here that do, even though you can open this area up, it is still quite difficult to actually make use of that. So we often do see more later and split map scenarios on Persephone. We'll see if our players are willing to embrace that. Meanwhile, SKillous, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the same build. If he goes for a Stargate into third base into early blink, would make sense. Just to be safe and to turn that around on YoungYakov. And now there's the Stargate. Do you have to go 15 hatch without Overlord in this snap because also will block you if you don't? It isn't necessary to... I mean, going for an unnatural natural is, like, quote-unquote standard. Like, as a result, it is not uncommon to be forced to take the third base instead of your natural instead. So a lot of players, like, you will still see them just, like, expand elsewhere. On Persephone. On other maps as well. At this point, it's one of those things where, oh Jesus, calm down, Yakov, calm down. Where hatch blocks were so meta and so standard in ZVP that players, I mean, all current pro players, pro Zerg players are very used to that opener and used to defending, despite being forced to take a bit of an awkward natural base instead. Like, that's just been kind of ingrained into the players. I remember there was a time where it was expected, and it was surprising if a Zerg player ever got their naturals up and running. That was before the 15 hatch timing was kind of like did hit mainstream. This was like, what, like 2 years ago? And even nowadays, like, still is seen. So now we do have our Twilight Council, tech of choice. SKillous going for his Twilight Council. We'll keep an eye on where YoungYakov spends his gas as well. Double Oracle on the right hand side. Spore isn't done. Mining is denied. But we do have a second queen. Nice reactions here by Yakov. Saves the mineral line. We do have the second forge on the way. Sorry, the forge is on the way. Getting into blink. Now, once again, this is early blink and a late forge. Once again, SKillous is going to be aggressive early on. And just like last game, the goal, the purpose of this opener is, one, to be defensive against an all-in, but two, to apply pressure and potentially deny the fourth base. And we saw how successful SKillous was at that last game. Meanwhile, Yakov does get an early Roach Warren. So I should say he gets a safety Roach Warren. Delayed Evo Chamber out of YoungYakov, so he's going for a more Roach heavy composition. Not as Ling heavy. Remember, to get into a standard macro game, you typically do see Evo Chamber +1 melee in towards Ling Bane Hydra, but here we have early Roaches to be safe early on. As Roach speed is being researched. Ling production has begun. As SKillous is poking out, he has eyes on the fourth base. There's Revelation. This time there are plenty of Zerglings. Ooh. They get punched by the Oracles. Second Robo on a base on the way, just like last game, going to double Robo, double Colossus production. And we see YoungYakov taking up faster in towards Hive. And this time he did not lose the 4th base. This time he invested quite heavily into all these Zerglings. Right, so a massive wave of Lings, Roaches as well. He saves a 4th, now getting a 5th. This time we have a cleaner start out of YoungYakov, and he's taking into Lurkers again. But this time in a much better position compared to last game. So coming into the mid game, I'm favoring YoungYakov. Yes, SKillous, he's going to have Colossus, and you can see they're already in production. But this time, YoungYakov, he's going to have his Hive, he's going to have his Lurkers, he's going to have his Vipers at a reasonable time. Despite the healing pad, oh no, my healing pad proves to be a little bit too much. Yakov, he throws away a lot of Lings. Fighting in the healing pad. Respect the pad. Respect. Things to engage. And SKillous is pushing. And again, this time he's reinforcing with Colossus. He already has 2. They're coming. And Yakov, his Lurkers aren't ready, actually. I assume they would be. But we have 5 Lurkers in production. Base is under fire. Yakov, he has to give up on it. The 4th base is going to go down. Nice pickup. Catching out 2 Hydras. Same time, Yakov does counterattack. He moves out. SKillous moves in. Lurkers Zuparu. And SKillous, he actually rotates into the main. Oh, risky move. Very risky here. Colossus, they try to support. That's a lot of Stalkers going down. That was 5 Stalkers getting sniped. Expensive losses there for SKillous. He has to pull away. Does have to back off. First Viper has arrived. Currently, there's no feedbacks with the army. Can we abduct those Colossus? Yakov is looking to stabilize. Now, as he builds up more Lurkers, I can say ground heavy composition like this, like he can hold the line. He can hold the line, thankfully for YoungYakov. SKillous, he doesn't have a fleet beacon. There's no fleet beacon, there's no Stargates. We're not taking up into Sky Toss. Yakov does have time. Nice abductions, he gets 1, he gets 2. He does abduct. SKillous trying to move in, but he gets punished. Nice storm, very nice storm. And another, oh god, the layered storms. Ay, ay, ay. Storms were solid. As now there's a 2nd and 3rd Viper. SKillous, he distracts on the left. Pushes on the right. There's our fleet beacon, ready for Sky Toss. We're getting ready for Sky Toss. And we'll see if Yakov can hold on. Because they are somewhat in position. But here comes the revelation. There we go, getting 1, 2, or 3 Lurkers will go down. Ooh, mass feedbacks on the Viper, storm as well, and this base, it may just fall. He's still holding on to 1 more storm. Goes to the mineral line, another storm here on the left-hand side. But Lurkers, they arrive in time. They do arrive in time. Zealots, they make their way into the natural. Another base will be cancelled. Oh god, a bit of miscontrol there by YoungYakov. He cancelled both hatcheries. Cancel both. And now we're backing off and we're bracing a longer and later game. As we mentioned, it's not uncommon on Persephone to slow the game down, just because it is easier to kind of cut the map in half and take your own side of the map. But that's still going to be 26 drone kills. YoungYakov, he's still behind. He's still struggling to keep up. SKillous is building up a bank. YoungYakov, he's struggling to do so himself, specifically his gas bank. Let's rotate. As I'll say to get into the mineral line. More drones going to be going down. And Yakov is all in. At this point, he's all in. He sends everything right across the map. SKillous out of position. He's out of position. Lurkers a Duporo. SKillous trying to respond. He has how many? He has 7 High Templar. There's the cloak. Decent feedbacks. Oh my god, the army's running into Lurker fire though. And that's going to be every single High Templar going down. Yeah, that's final storm. Final storms. But it's still enough. Looks like he... Oh no, the detection! The one Lurker! There's one Lurker holding on. 3 more Lurkers in the natural. 0 detection. Free damage with the Lunkers. Let's go. The one thing keeping SKillous back at home. The lack of vision. There it is. Observer pops out. And Yakov is cleaned up. He's cleaned up. You have Yakov trying to rotate on the right hand side. See, we'll lose that army. And with that SKillous, he should swim by control. Remember, Yakov, he was all in. Like that move, pushing in between the bases, that was a kill move. That was a kill move that was meant to end the game. Because it didn't, I mean, Yakov falls behind. Yakov, he's trying to re-drone, resaturate, morphing in extra lurkers. But momentum is in favor of SKillous here. He's pushing. So far, SKillous is looking another way in. Zelte once again get tip in on the right hand side. Nice slow zone. SKillous, he should be able to rotate in. Once again, though, no detection. The storm, though. Yeah, storm is enough. Lurker goes down. There's one observer on the right hand side. No observer with the main army. The lack of detection is keeping YoungYakov alive, like constantly throughout this game. Just able to stay borrowed, stay cloaked. He's surviving. As Yakov does rotate towards left hand side. He does have a decent lurker count. It's 9 lurkers here. Oh, we'll take a storm to the face. More storms are coming in. This time there is an observer with the army. At least it should be. There it is. There we go. Does catch out of the lurkers. And Yakov is hoping to delay SKillous and maybe even force a recall. Oh, never mind. Yeah, SKillous, he's fine back at home, perfectly fine. Pushing in, there are 10 lurkers defensively. And Yakov is doing everything he can to just survive. But GG. he can only survive for so long. GG gets called as SKillous. He will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Again, the writing was on the wall for a long time there. YoungYakov, he was on the back foot for almost the entire game. SKillous, he was able to get very comfortable, able to deny bases, able to get into mineral lines, shut down the army. As we mentioned before, there was one shot that YoungYakov went for, that one kill move right down the center into the natural, and he was able to get some damage done. He was able to trade at least, but that was meant to kill, and he failed to do so, so he fell behind from there. Again, still better economy, larger army for SKillous. GG. Did snowball out of control, and with that, SKillous, he does advance on to the grand finals. We're going to be following him into said finals. Let's go. Sorry, we're going to be finding out who will join him in those finals. We're heading over here to the upper bracket semis to find out who will face off against him. Let's go. Let us go.